The amount of balance and strength that you need in social dances, if you really want to excel, gets underestimated a lot. And so I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can start off with and maybe progress to if you want to improve your balance. The first exercise is the one that we all know, but we usually never think of taking to more difficult variations. So here we go. First, bring your feet to parallel. Choose your working standing leg. And you want to make sure that you're now bringing your belly button toward the spine. Don't let it come front, and especially don't let the back collapse in such a way that you're not holding from your core. You need to activate your lower abdominals and create a straight line in your back. At the same time, we also want to see that we're not bringing our hip up in such a way that we create a diagonal in the hip line, rather drop down the hips. And if you're wearing a belt or pants, you can check yourself in the mirror so that it looks very straight, or as straight as possible. From here, you're going to hold. Easy peasy. We all know this one. But you can make it more difficult by now changing the position of your head. For example, you can start looking down while keeping everything that we spoke about the same way. You start looking down. You start looking up. Up. It's already getting harder for me as well. You start looking to the side. And you try to keep yourself from falling. And so you can go around in the head, in the head as well, but with the head in circles. And see how that is impacting your standing leg. Change legs. Do it on the other side. Play with it. And when you feel like you're going to tip over, try to actively feel that sensation. Spread out your toes across the floor and try to keep yourself from falling, because that is what we later on want to use in social dancing as well, when we're on our own and we have to take responsibility of our own weight, our own balance. So you'll be able to catch yourself in a situation where you might feel that you're losing balance. Another variation of the single leg stand is maintaining everything the same, but closing your eyes and feeling how this is impacting your standing leg, your toes, your heel. Are you starting to fall rather to the inside, rather to the outside of the foot? And then start working against it, trying at all times to keep a strong ankle. That being said, when you look at your ankles, you want to always make sure that you're stabilizing them from both sides. I'm not letting my foot pronate, which would be letting it roll inside, which goes together with the ankle, not stabilizing against. So I'm actively making sure my ankle is positioning itself below my knees and in a straight line. I'm also not letting my feet supinate, I believe is the right word in English, which is the opposite, letting them roll out. Look at yourself in the mirror, search for proper alignment, and hold your ankles strong the moment that you're attempting balance exercises. If you look at it in action, taking the other leg now, I'm now first searching for good positioning. Then I'm having a look. Okay, is my leg straight? Is my knee also engaged? Am I holding from the core? Are my toes spread out and working? Feel and look at yourself, analyze a little bit. How are you actually distributing your weight, and what part of your body is really working or is not working and needs therefore more attention? It takes a little bit of time, but it's really, really worth it, because the moment that you're getting used to using your body correctly, you'll just feel so much better and so much more in control when you are dancing not only by yourself, but in partner work as well. And your partner can rely more on you having control over yourself, instead of being there and kind of micromanaging also your part and your task in the dance. Let's have a look at another level and another layer of making this harder. If you have a yoga mat, ideally a little bit thicker. I'm using a very thin one here. Don't ask me, 3 millimeters or something. If you have one of those that is really comfy and cushiony, I recommend using those for balance exercises because they will give you nice instability once you are standing on one foot and challenge you in a good way. So something that is less stable, and that's why I brought my pillow here as well, can serve you as your assistant to leveling up any kind of balance exercises that you might be attempting. So if we only look at that same exercise we had just now, this is also, unfortunately, this is a cushion that it just goes and is flat. But if you get the idea, if you have something that is a bit more shapely and kind of pushy from the inside, you will feel how your balance is challenged a little bit more. What you can do then is use the same foundation of this exercise, but start playing with a working leg. So you can think of any direction that comes to mind. For example, letting it sway to any kind of angle behind you while catching yourself and maintaining good control in your ankle. You can also use any kind of rotation. You can play with the height of the leg. Anything that comes to mind that feels a little bit unusual, because when we do this standing exercise by itself, we usually tend to focus ourselves on one particular point and we anchor ourselves in that point. And this is good. Of course, it helps us to not lose balance. But once we use these head positioning changes and also introduce different coordinational challenging exercises, we are bringing ourselves off focus. And that's exactly what we want to train. Let's have a look at one more very dynamic exercise, which is great for strengthening and balance at the same time. We're going back to our initial position. However, we're now not taking our leg all the way up. We're just leaving it around the calf area, and we can actually let it relax a little bit backward as well. Now the idea is that we have a strong, strong lower core, and we're going to bend the standing leg, and we are almost hinging, but we're hinging from the glutes, so to say, not from the hip. It's not going to be this. So you want to use a lower part of your butt as the pushing starter. This is where you initiate the lean. And so my upper body remains straight, and I'm keeping my bent leg in position, and I'm doing something similar to a pendulum movement. Up, a little bit down, hands toward the hips, and we start going front, going back. And every time you think of bringing your belly button to the spine, don't let the lower abdominals relax too much. They're the ones holding your whole construction. That is your frame and your connection through the limbs. And so you can start going lower as well. Oop, there we go. Here's a challenge. And work from the thighs as well. You will feel they will get sore after a moment, which is delicious. Let's include one more thing in this video, which goes very closely together with balance. And I already mentioned it, strength in the feet, strength in the ankles. So if you are someone who has already done millions of our beloved releves, put a more challenging variation to this as well. So number one, in parallel, great, we all know it. A little bit turned out, first position in ballet. Same thing, going up and down. We always want to focus on bringing our weight a little bit to the inside of the foot. Now be careful, because we talked about pronation. It's not this, where you will feel your thighs and your knees falling inward. No, it is bringing the weight toward the big toe and the second toe just a little tiny bit. It's almost invisible as well. And this is where most of our weight is positioned when we're dancing for good stabilization. However, the little pinky toes are also involved in balance, so you don't want to bring them off the floor either. Think of a tripod position below your foot. 1, 2, 3. That is stabilizing you at most times, depending on, of course, if you are on half toe or full foot. The fun part is that you can also use a turned in position. Please don't dance like this. It's not cute, but it's very, very helpful for using different muscles and stimulating what is otherwise maybe a little bit neglected. So do a few of them and you will feel that you're challenging your calves, your legs, your feet in another complementary way. You can literally do the 3 variations of those on a staircase. For example, something is a bit elevated, that's a bit stronger than a yoga block. I only have the yoga block right now to demonstrate, but you would then take both of your feet, set them onto the stoop or the elevation, maybe a stack of books. And this one is actually also good because it gives me less or more instability since it's a little squishy as well. And then you want to drop your heels to create more of a difference in height. Bring the heels down and up and down and up. Actually, it's working quite well, even though it's a very light stoop. Turning my feet out, finding good position, squeezing my butt as well. Everything here along my legs and core is engaged. And I found my position. Up and down, up and down. You're now not seeing much of my knees because I'm wearing these unhandy pantsies. See, but I will straighten my knees at all times as well. They are engaged and straight. I'm not trying to cheat with my pants by relaxing my knees. No, this is counterproductive. You do want to straighten all the way. And so we go to up, hoop, up as well. And we got ourselves a really nice series of balance exercises that can be up or downgraded depending on your needs.